Madam, shall we proceed? Hello.
Sir, yes, sir.
We can start.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, one and all present here. Greetings. It's immense pleasure to welcome you all for the 5 days faculty development program, the emerging trends in research and teaching technology. Today's international faculty development program is organized by Department of Electronic Media, St. Thomas College of Arts and Science, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. It is a 5 days faculty development program from February 26, 24 to March 1st, 2024. Today's guest is an international speaker who joined with us today to share his valuable inputs and knowledge based on the theme of the faculty development program. So faculty members, make the platform enlighten your knowledge about the research and teaching technology and make the session useful and remarkable one. Before invoking the session, let us start the program with a welcome address. I call upon our beloved head, Department of Electronic Media, Dr. S. Ilango, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon, one and all present. Greetings from St. Thomas College of Arts and Science, Department of Electronic Media. The Department of Electronic Media is happy to conduct the second day FDP on the emerging trend in research and teaching technology. In this occasion, I welcome our Honorable Secretary, Sri Biju Chacko. I welcome our Honorable Principal, Dr. T.S. Prema. It is indeed a great pleasure in inviting our Vice Principals, Dr. B. Jayakumar, Shift 1, and Dr. M. Nagarajan, Shift 2. I welcome our Dean, College Affairs and Head, IQAC, Professor C.B. Mathai. I welcome our Dean Research, Dr. Naresh, for this session. I am very happy to welcome all the heads of the Department of St. Thomas College of Arts and Science and staff members of all departments. It is a great pleasure to welcome all the research scholars and professors from various universities and colleges around the world who are eagerly waiting for this session. It is a great honor to welcome our resource person, Dr. Andy Asrifan, Head, Institute for Cooperation and International Affairs, University from Indonesia. I welcome our Dean Women Affairs of St. Thomas College, Dr. Susan Abraham, for this session. Today's topic, effective teaching strategies and technique. It is a wonderful topic. For me, teaching is a pleasure. For all teachers, teaching is a pleasant job. I hope you all enjoy this talk of session. Guest Dr. Andy Asrifan from Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Professor S. Palani to introduce our guest for today to the audience.
Good afternoon to one present here. It is with great pleasure that we welcome Dr. Andy Asrifan, Head Institute for Cooperation and International Affairs, Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidanran Repang, Indonesia. Dr. Andy Asrifan is a distinguished figure in the realm of education, renowned for his extensive academic qualification and a career marked by significant contributions to teaching, research and educational development, with a robust educational background that includes education, a master's in education, and a bachelor's in secondary education. Dr. Asrifan has established himself as a well-rounded educator and academic leader. Currently serving as the head of the Institute for Cooperation and International Affairs at Universitas Muhammadiyah Sidanran Repang. His scholarly contributions are not limited to teaching and administration. Dr. Asrifan has an impressive record of research publication and book chapters that span a wide range of topics, including education, language, and interdisciplinary research. His work has been published in reputable international and national journals. Reflecting his dedication to contributing to the academic community, Dr. Asrifan's influence extends beyond the classroom and into the broader educational. On behalf of the Electronic Media Department, St. Thomas College of Arts and Science, we welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Palani. I am privileged to invite our guest for today, Professor Dr. Andy Asrifan, to take over the session on the topic effective teaching strategies and technique.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Allow me to share my screen. Okay. Is it audible, my dear ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. Good afternoon from Indonesia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is really honor to be here to the faculty and staff and the students from the Sir Thomas College of Art and Science, Department of Electronic Media, in this International Faculty Development Program today for 4 days. I'm really honored again. I think this is one of the implementation of MOU forward among this university and some universities around in Indonesia. And Alhamdulillah, for the next 2 months, exactly on April, I will move to the government university of Indonesia. That's one of the biggest university in Indonesia, called Universitas Negeri Makassar, State University of Makassar. Thank you so much for your support during 2020, and then I'm eligible to be accepted in one of the big state university in Indonesia. For today sharing in this International Faculty of Development Program, I will discuss and share the insightful information. This is one of the very important component in develop the curriculum. So you know that I'm also one of the curriculum developer in Indonesia since 2021, where Indonesia now is applying the new year's curriculum called Curriculum Merdeka. So after we move from the curriculum K13, so now we start in 2021. So we apply the new year's curriculum called Curriculum Merdeka, or independence curriculum, where every school starting in kindergarten until university. So the government give independency to all school to design their own curriculum based on the government objective that's they're given to every school. One of the element here is how we design the teaching activity, that's how we try to train and manage the hidden potential in the multiple intelligence based on the Howard Gardner theory. Before I start, so let me show my mapping from some resources that we will discuss. What is the effective teaching strategy and technique itself? Okay. So if we are talking about the effective teaching strategy and technique, so we want to know about active learning. So that's effective teaching strategy and technique. So what is the active learning? Active learning is engages student directly in activity, promoting higher order thinking and retaining information. And technique include group discussion, debate, problem solving tasks, and peer teaching. So later we will discuss about what's the differentiation between the teaching strategy and also the teaching technique after this slide. The next effective teaching strategy and technique. Some educator apply also collaborative learning. Collaborative learning, I think some resources provided to us. Collaborative learning is where the student work together to explore a significant question or create a meaningful project. So here's some technique in collaborative learning. So like group projects, study time, a team, collaborative writing, and think-based share exercises. Another example is differentiated instruction. I think the theory comes from Carol Ann Tomlinson. Carol Ann Tomlinson and differentiated instruction, where I think this is the core theory that we apply now in curriculum Merdeka, the newest curriculum in Indonesia. So differentiated instruction, that's the tailored teaching environment, content, and process, and also the product where to meet diverse student needs. So here's some technique how we as a teacher or lecturer vary learning material, adapt the assessment, tire assignments, and flexible group. Another example is inquiry-based learning. So where we encourage students to ask the question, investigate solution, and develop new understanding. So the technique include guided research, scenario exploration, case study, and project-based assignment. The next example is in effective teaching strategy and technique is a formative assessment. So we utilize informal, frequent check of student progress inform day-to-day instruction. So the technique include exit sleep quizzes, 1 minute reflection before we close the classroom, and pictorial representation of understanding. Next one is summative assessment. That's how we evaluate the student learning at the end of instruction period. For example, in the last of semester or in the middle semester. So that's we have the formative assessment. So the technique like we provided the standardized task, final project, portfolio, and comprehensive exam. Another hand is scaffolding. Scaffolding is how we provide temporary support to students to help them achieve their learning goal. So the technique include we provided modeling step-by-step processes, providing cues and prompt, and using visual aid. Experiential learning, where the student acquire knowledge through the hands-on and reflective activity. So here we have field trip, laboratory experiment, simulation, and role playing. And we now flipped classroom. So that's a flipped classroom is a student access lecture material outside the class and freeing in the class time for interactive activity. So that's we can provide it online video, pre-recorded lecture like some school in Indonesia invites the social media to support the teaching and learning process in the classroom. So you know that in Indonesia we apply some pace of education. We started in the kindergarten for 2 years. And then we continue for 6 years in elementary school, and 3 years for junior high school, and 3 years for senior high school or vocational high school. After that, we continue to the university or institute or polytechnic for bachelor degree for and degree for degree. The fathers, I think, 3 to 4 years. And the game simulation, that's how we incorporate game-like activity and simulation to enhance the learning experience. So some technique that we can apply here, like educational video games, role-playing scenario, and simulation software. Here how we apply also the technology integration. So that's how we use the technology tool to foster learning in digital age. So some technique here include the interactive whiteboard, education app, and online discussion forum and virtual reality or VR. And reflective practice. So that's how we encourage students and teachers to think critically about their learning and teaching method. So some technique include here the journal, self-evaluation, peer review, and teaching portfolio. Metacognitive strategy, that's how we help the student understand how they learn and how to control their learning process. So the technique include here like goal setting, self-questioning, summarizing, and previewing upcoming content. The next one is culturally responsive teaching. So that's how we recognize the importance of including student cultural references in all aspects of learning. So the technique include here multicultural content, positive classroom environment, culturally relevant example, and promoting cultural understanding. And the next one is mastery learning. So that's one of the component in effective teaching strategy and technique. I think there are some teaching strategy and technique, but I just summarize from some books and article journal a couple days ago, and then I conclude like and map them like this to comprehensible. That's the mastery learning. We focus on achieving a high level of understanding before moving on the top on the next topic. So the technique include personalizing feedback, corrective activity, and advances after mastering content. Next one is the peer teaching. I think that's one of the common technique that some educator apply in their classrooms, where the student teach their peer, reinforcing their own understanding, helping other learn. So, for example, some student maybe based on our assessment of evaluation. So the student A has the highest or understand than others. So we invite them to peer teach and helping their mates. So the technique include reciprocal teaching, tutoring, and peer assisted learning strategy. The next is storytelling. So this is uses the narrative as a tool to communicate concept, engaging emotion, and make material relatable. And the technique include the personal anecdote, historical narrative, and case study presented as a story. And the last one is visualization. So here how we use imaginary to represent idea, concept, and information. So the technique include mind mapping like this one, and concept mapping, graphic organizer, and flow chart. And the next is feedback loop. Here we provided regular and timely feedback to students to improve and guide their learning. So the technique includes here rubric, peer feedback section, and ongoing dialogue between the teacher and the student. Ladies and gentlemen, so the question is, what is the differentiation between the strategy and the technique that I mentioned just now? So here I share some element in that lead us how to differentiate between the strategy and the technique, especially in the teaching. So here's some overview about the strategy. Strategy is the broad approaches to guide instruction. Strategy establishing the framework for learning outcome, and the strategy long-term planning and execution. So the technique is the specific method employed during the teaching, the practical action and activity within the strategy framework, and the short-term So the strategy, that's long term, but the technique is a short term and adaptable to individual lesson. So here's some pedagogical strategy where we have, the previous slide, I show you what is the differentiated instruction, inquiry-based learning, cooperative learning, direct instruction, and problem-based learning. So the technique here, the teaching technique, I think teaching technique like questioning, modeling, collaborative learning, scaffolding, and feedback and assessment. That's the technique. And how we integrate the strategy and technique. So here we have some activity like constructivist approach. So I think here the technique concept mapping, where the visual tool to represent the student understanding and perception, and the technique role playing. Here we engage the scenario to explore complex topic deeply. So on the other hand, we have strategy fit classroom, where how we integrate a strategy and technique. So flipped classroom. So the classroom, we have a video lecture for homework, interactive activity during the class. And then also we have blended learning. So this is a very common, especially when we got COVID-19 starting in 2020. In some school applied blended learning in their learning environment. Blended learning, so we have online discussion through LMS learning management system in every school, I think will has, or university, digital quizzes and polls. So we have in online discussion, I think some school or university facilitate and continue engagement beyond the classroom wall. And in digital quizzes and poll, I think we have instant assessment and student engagement with the material. And the strategy or gamification. So this, we have educational games where the learning through play enhance engagement and retention, and badging and leaderboard. Leaderboard is a motivational tool that recognizes achievement and progress. The last is a social emotional strategy, or CL. Circle time, where provide a space for sharing and understanding emotion, and conflict resolution role play. So we develop negotiation and empathy skill among the student. And the last is how we balance the strategy and the technique. So here some keyword that can lead us in this question are importance of alignment. So we ensure the technique fit within the chosen strategy work, and creating cohesive and effective lesson plan. So continuous evaluation and adaptation, assessing the effectiveness of technique within strategy, and updating a method based on the student outcome and the feedback. So the other hand, the strategy is the teacher role, where the facilitator of learning rather than a mere information provider, and then creator of a strategy and technique for optimal learning experiences and professional development. So here, keeping to up to date with educational research and learning new strategy and technique for classroom application. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move to next slide. Allow me to share again my slide. Okay. Okay, here's some the chart, the guideline for designing effective teaching material. We started some factor that should be considered. There are 6 factors here. The first one is we have to consider the learner. Some element are need analysis. Their learning needs and target needs, knowledge about the learner, experiences, the first language or mother tongue, level of literacy, aspiration, interest, and purposes. The next element is the curriculum and the content. The context, share the value to be taught, goal, and the objective. The resources and the facility, personal competence and competence, copyright, compliance, and the time. At the time, how much time we share the material, we working in team and organizing the material. Some guidelines, especially in ELT. So there are 10 guidelines. First, that's if we are talking about the language here, English language teaching. So the material should be contextualized. Material should stimulate interaction and be generative. The ELT material should encourage the learner to develop learning skill and strategy. ELT material should allow for the focus on the form as well as function, and ELT material should offer opportunity for integrated language use, and ELT material should be authentic. ELT material should link to each other to develop the progression of skill, understanding, and language item. ELT material should be attractive. ELT material should have appropriate instruction, and the last, ELT material should be flexible. Ladies and gentlemen, so why I focus one of enforce in one element in teaching strategy and instructional design, especially in, for educator in the classroom. So in the opinion, we started in the opinion that this theory comes from the Howard Gardner. That's the theory author. Each person has the 8 type of intelligence. So they are developed in the different degree. They are potential capability to that everyone can activate by doing the right activity. The level of their development depends on the chance available in a specific culture and or decision taken by the people and their family or the teacher. And the Gardner show that everyone intelligence is multidimensional and dynamic, and it's not also about the logical and linguistic comprehension which is usually tested at school. And our task here as an educator, teacher, or a lecturer, how we have the student to develop each of intelligence and also to find out what kind activity make their learning easier and more enjoyable. So here the 8 multiple intelligence and some potential career. The first, I think this is not a secret and very common, I think, and easiest to be found in some resources that intelligence area cover 8: word smart, number smart, picture smart, body smart, music smart, people smart, self smart, and nature smart. And there are some specific characteristic, I think, where in the word smart, they will love to read, write, tell story, talk, memorize, work in puzzle. And in number smart, they love to working with the pattern and relationship, classifying, categorize, working with the abstract. And the picture smart, that's the people who work with a picture and color, visualizing, using the mind, idea, and drawing. And in the bodily, they love in touching, moving, processing knowledge through the body sensation. And the music smart, that's rhythm, melody, sing, listen to the music and musical pattern. And the people smart, that's they love to sharing, comparing, relating, interviewing, and cooperating. And in self smart, that working alone, doing self-paced project, having a space and reflecting, and the loss in nature smart, that's we walk in the nature, exploring living thing, learning about the plant and natural event. So here's some, I think, I introduced some very simple, I think, ICT tool and education that can support all part in multiple intelligence. I think there are many, not some, there are many art platform that can be used to support our classroom, but we can't use all of them in one moment, but we can classify them into some groups. For example, in video conferencing and things, Zoom or another tool that can help us in conferencing and communicating tool, in homework management and online LMS, or in the how some application or a platform in progress monitoring and data management and content specific tool. Or we can classify them into some element here like discovery, discourse, or interactive with other, or deductive that's being taught and doing that we engage in activity. I think unconsciously, I think everyone who use iPad or iPhone or Android or smartphone, I think that's unconsciously every day we use these application, but these application can sharpen our multiple intelligences, especially like in interpersonal, WordPress, Puplet, Day One, and still many other kind of application that can sharpen our interpersonal. In interpersonal, Skype, Facebook, or TikTok, or Instagram, in visual, spatial, in musical, linguistic, and logical, mathematical. So why ICT tool? ICT tool, I think it has been proved that using this media in the classroom aids student educational success. ICT tool improve the student memory of new information, help them better understand complex instruction, and ensure their comprehension. And they make learning more enjoyable and foster student concentration. Student take more responsibility for what they learn while using ICT tool, and especially what they use them for the project. And the last, technology, I think, change rapidly and is omnipresent, showing our student how to use ICT tool for the practical purposes. I think we reassure their success in the future professional development. Like this one, I think this is some a platform, the very simple platform. I think from time to time, I think there are many platform and also artificial intelligence that can support in every a kind of multiple intelligence, like in mathematical logical. So we now that's they work in puzzle, jigsawplanet.com that can support mind map, Puplet, and time toss like one, or Microsoft PowerPoint. I think that's a rich application one that can support some element. I think in the computer game can create in the purposegame.com or another. I think still many application or platform that can support in every part of multiple intelligence. In linguistic, I think we have a learning apps.org. In searching some free book, I think Z Library or Big Asia that free provided a million free book in this platform. In vocabulary exercises, spellingcity.com. And to train our speaking, we have voki.com. In writing, I think Prezi is one of the simple platform that can be used to support our classroom, especially in language. In visual intelligence, poster, Gloster.com can provide our student to design their poster based on the topic or theme we provide them. In map, I think the tripline.net is one of the very interesting and common application. For example, we can provide them to describe our trip or our student trip when starting from they leave from their home until they reach the school and back again. So I think this one is very interesting. And a video here, and in bodily kinesthetic, Jigsaw Planet, YouTube, pzap.com, Puplet.com, in emotional or intelligence, in interpersonal intelligence, musical intelligence, and the last is naturalistic. That's about the survey of flora and fauna, field note, experiences of natural work, environment, and project. Glockster, and I think we have also used another useful tool, Google Earth. That's how we can visit the different part of the world with the virtual map. Ladies and gentlemen, so that's now we come the way of teaching. So what is the way of teaching? I divided here after we know some technique and strategy. So we know the some potential that some potential part that can support our student motivation, and we can touch their uh, uh, interest in learning, our student interest in learning through uh, teaching activity, teaching material, and instructional strategy based on their power in linguistic or in logical, mathematical, spatial, bodily, kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. So here some example that I classify them into three parts. For example, in linguistic, so in teaching material, I think we can provide lecture, discussion, word games, storytelling, choral reading, and journal writing. In teaching material, so we provide books, tape recorder, typewriter, stamp, a book on tape, and here's some instructional strategy. For example, student read about this one, write about it, talk about it, and listen to it. In logical, I think here's some teaching activity, teaching material, and some instructional strategy like quantify it, think critical about it, put it in logical framework, experiment with it. In spatial, here's some teaching activity, visual presentation, and so on. And teaching material, we can provide some graph, map, video, or picture library, and some instructional strategy like get students see about this one and draw it, this one, visualize it, to blah blah blah, and color it, mind map it. And in bodily kinesthetic, yeah, some instructional strategy, teaching material and activity, build it, act it out, touch it, get a good feeling of it, and then dance it. In the personal, so here the corporate learning, peer tutoring, community involvement, and social fostering. And teaching material, board game, I think we can provide it, and a party supply, proper role play, and some instructional strategy like teach it, collaborate on it, interact with, respect to it. In interpersonal, so we have connect it with your personal life, make choices with regard it, and reflect on it, and then they can write in a piece of paper or on their social media or another instruction. I think that's intrapersonal. Another hand is in naturalistic. So there's a nature study, ecological awareness, and care of animals. So some teaching material, we can provide a plan, introduce the part of plant, starting the root, and also the green, and so on. And or we can introduce some kind of animal to or visit in the zoo or in the forest, or in naturalist tool like binocular and gardening tool. And here's some instructional strategy like connected to living thing and natural phenomena. Ladies and gentlemen, um, we can also combine, yes, combine the multiple intelligence with the uh, Bloom taxonomy. So I think we have now in Bloom taxonomy revised. There are six part: remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Here, really interested research. If any researchers or lecturer can can apply this one to develop the effective teaching material, how we combine we merge the Gardner multiple intelligence and the taxonomy Bloom, the 6 taxonomy Bloom. Oh, that's really interest. Or this one, like here the practical, for example, in the theme of the Olympic Games. So in linguistic, so we can how they enjoy the reading, writing, and speaking. So in the level of knowing, so we can instruct them. So list all the city that have hosted the modern Olympic game in interesting way. In understanding, I think we can instruct them create a story map of the favorite myth or legend from a competing country. In applying, write a letter of support or encouragement to an athlete. In analyzing, write a bibliography for a current New Zealand Olympic athlete. In creating, design the book of Olympic world record. And evaluating, I think we can outline 5 important rules for a good sportsmanship. Make sure your rule relate a particular sport. Okay, I think this one is some flapon that can help us to I think to develop the instrument of our research. For example, how to now or to find our strength. That's in linguistic or interpersonal on in the part of multiple intelligence who are garnered from the literacy.net.org or in the personalismax.com multiple intelligence test or in test yourself psychotest.com. I think these platform can help us to make easy to find to design instrument of our research. I think thank you so much for this wonderful invitation. Again, thank you to the faculty and staff and the students and also to all the participants, especially from the St. Thomas College of Art and Science, Department of Electronic and Media. Thank you so much for this honor and good afternoon from Indonesia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now it is an open forum to discuss and ask question to our guest speaker. Is anyone interested? Can raise your questions to our guest speaker.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Mariana. I'm from Indonesia. So happy to hear that the presenter today is from Indonesia as well. So I'm a teacher, but currently I'm just pursuing my master degree and I'm doing my research about teaching and learning vocabulary using gamification. So, doctor, the one that I'm going to ask you is before you start that on the assessment, we can just make a rubric, right? So it's just making me confused. How could I make the fair and good rubric for my students? Because it's like when it comes to differentiation, when I'm teaching in the class, so as you said before, we're having curriculum merdeka, and it's like it's good if I just like um using the differentiation both like on the process or on the product or anything, and I have to just have a different rubric for each of them. For example, like on the speaking rubric, or the other students might just choose for the writing one, while the other or speaking the performance. How could I just like how could I just construct a great and fair rubric? Thank you, doctor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think the first way is finding out the grand theory that we can use to support our rubric. For example, in speaking, I think some theory comes I forgot the name, but some theory introduced the rubric in speaking, like fluency, accuracy, and comprehensibility. That's the difference in speaking, and also I think we can provide what kind of assessment. So the first way I think in how we designing rubric for research, especially in languages, we understand what is the rubric itself. I think the rubric is the scoring guide to evaluate the quality of our uh, uh, student constructed response. After that, after we understand the rubric, the next phase I think is starting the objective of using the rubric. So that's I think we have SMART. SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Saya kira di kurikulum Merdeka ada seperti itu ya Bu ya. I think in Curriculum Merdeka introduce that's SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So I think in starting the objective also clearly define what the research intend to accomplish. After we know the rubric, the objective of the rubric, so we establish the criteria of the rubric itself. Criteria should align with the research objective, and also each criterion should focus on different skill. For example, that just now you mentioned in speaking or or oral language or written language, if we divided that, or if we divide it into four: writing, speaking, reading, and listening. So we focus on different skill or knowledge are pertinent or to our research. After that, uh we have to now the level of performance. We design performance, like I think some kind of criteria set a distinct level, like excellent, good, paid, full, or in excellent in 5.4, 3, 2, 1. And also ensure I think there are clear descriptor of each level to avoid ambiguity, I think. And after that, drafting the rubric. So we create the grid with the criteria, performance level of other, and also we feel of each cell. Qualify in the level of just now I mentioned, we have excellent, good, and so on. After we design a rubric for each level of skill or kind of language, I think we conduct the test and revise. So we apply the rubric to a view sample to ensure the work as intended, and we also we revise the rubric based on the feedback and observed issue. So uh, uh the the good way, I think, before we apply our rubric, so I think better we assess or evaluate the rubric or instrument that we have to some evaluator or some expert, especially in assessment or evaluator. So the next part is after we know the theory, we designing and we use. So now we use the rubric. So that's how we apply the rubric to assess the research project or our paper, or the focus on providing feedback of constructive theory. I think we can use the digital tool for rubric. I think there are some digital tool to make us easiest to reach to get the data. One of them is I forgot the name of application. For example, we want to the objective of our research. We want to evaluate in qualitative research design, especially in descriptive. So we want to know uh, the specific information, from 100 of research result from all over the world. So we just download it and then submit them in that application, and then the digital tool will help us to analyze the specific, I think specific rubric creation and application. And also this tool can provide analytical and streamline the assessment process. We can also use the peer review rubric for our professor mate, I think, in our university or school, or our lecturer, to review and provide a suggestion for the rubric, and also to the peer insight. It can over the field level perspective on clarity or the fairness of our rubric. I think thank you so much. I think hopefully it can answer. And if it not, I have provided and share my
I have one
contact.
question, sir.
To,
I have
to,
one
to,
question.
to share. Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Yes, my dear professor.
See how
Thank
to
you, Mariana. Yes, Yelango, sir.
how to develop writing skills.
Yes.
Writing skills. How to develop writing skills of students. Documentation, draft writing.
Yes.
What are the tools we can teach students to develop these writing skills?
Okay, thank you so much. I think one, I have joined some training in this specific, how to develop our student writing skill. So especially when we I think you know that we are in the digital pace or age, so we can chat GPT. I think this modern this very famous one to map their brain to choose some specific or specific topic to develop their writing skill. So beside the chat GPT, I think there are some tool like Jenny dot AI, or Jenny, or Humata dot AI, and I think there are I think from some tool that we now in artificial intelligence. I think chat GPT in the version of 4.0 I think is very common. Be we can start also in with the understanding of the writing challenges of our student, and cultivating the supportive environment, I think. And then also fundamental the writing skill we can introduce, or we can introduce some fundamental of writing skill like grammar, syntax, focus on vocabulary expansion, or emphasizes the sentence structure. And also we can introduce them in the pace of writing process in our classroom. For example, how we introduce the concept of drafting, revising, and finalizing, and also teach the planning of outline. And in writing, that's the writing process and writing practice. I think we can encourage them to the daily writing exercises, such as how they're writing the journal or their blog, in their blog, or and also assign writing tasks in different gender, like narrative, descriptive, or of another kind of text. And also we can integrate the reading and write after we instruct them to read something. So we can instruct them to summarize through reading, through writing. So we can instruct them how they analyze the text and understanding argument structure and rhetorical strategy after the reading to writing, and then also they discuss the different writing style and impact of the learner. And that I have mentioned in using some platform in technology like ChatGPT, Jenny, and Humata.ai. So I think that's using technology. So here we teach how to use word processing tool for editing and formatting. Like, for example, I think we can combine the chat GPT and also quillbot.com. I think Quillbot is really interested platform that can really help of our student writing, academic, and also publication. And we in using technology, we can introduce the how we collaborative. I think just now I say that how we collaborative the writing platform like ChatGPT and Quillbot or Jenny or another platform, I think. And based on my classroom, so there are some activity also to how to develop the student writing skill is by using the project based learning or PBL. So that's how we design a real world writing project to our student. Like for example, we instruct them to send a letter to editor or community research, or we instruct them to propose a proposal to support their some activity, or we integrate the interdisciplinary writing tasks or focus on writing progress or writing skill. But the most important thing is after we design, after we instruct the student writing, so we have to give the feedback and revision. So I think this is very important thing. So the student can set up the regular one-on-one conferences to discuss progress and set goal in one forum. For example, the student A, so we show we show their task, and then we discuss from sentence to sentence in the and then we give the feedback and revision. So we have we use also the rubric that I have mentioned in the previous participant. So and provide a clear expectation and consistent grading criteria. So in writing, I think I forgot the name of the famous writing English language test. That's the title of the book. So in writing, I think there are 5 component or element that we will assess. In speaking, there are 3: accuracy, fluency, comprehensibility, and also we can encourage the reflection after we give the feedback and revision to receive the future improvement of our developing a student writing skill. Thank you so much, my dear professor. Hopefully it can provide or answer your question. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Feedback link is dropped in message box. Kindly fill the feedback form. Dear participants, feedback link is there in the message box. You can fill it. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Andy
Thank you.
Asif
Thank
Khan.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you.
Now, as we are to the end of the session, before ending the session, kindly switch on the camera so that we can take a photo. Please, participants, kindly on the camera.
Thank you, my dear brother, Dr. Sheikh Muhammad. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, my dear Professor, Professor Dr. S.L. Alango. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Professor.
Thank you. Thank you.
And allow me to introduce your university to some university in Indonesia, and hopefully there is a way to do the MOU
Okay,
between or among university in Indonesia and also your university. Hopefully we can have golden opportunity.
Welcome, sir. Welcome. We will do. We will sign an MOU.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm
so
very
much.
happy that you have given a chance for us.
Thank you so much, sir. Before we are ending to the session, it's time to propose the vote of thanks. Thank you, Almighty God, for making this today's program a grand success. I stand here with deep sense of gratitude as we conclude our today's faculty development program on behalf of Department of Electronic Media, St. Thomas College of Arts and Science, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. Our heartfelt appreciation goes to our guest speaker, Dr. Andy Asif Khan, for sharing his expertise and knowledge. Your valuable insights have undoubtedly enriched our understanding, will definitely contribute to our professional growth. My big thank you to our college management, our secretary, Mr. Biju Chako, our beloved principal, Dr. T.S. Prema, our vice principals, Dr. P. Jayakumar, Shift 1, and Dr. M.V. Nagarajan, Shift 2, our head of the department, Dr. S. Ilango, Mr. Shibi Matai, Dean College Affairs, Dr. Rasul Jayapati, Controller of Examination, Dr. S. Naresh, Dean Research, Dr. Susan Abraham, Dean College Women Affairs, and department heads and my beloved colleagues, technical and non-technical team, for their constant support and enthusiasm throughout the program. I also extend my thanks to head of the department and faculty members from various colleges. And thank you all the participants who participated for today's program. Meet you all tomorrow again in next session. Have a nice day. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Anderson.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor.